everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, July 17th, 2022. Well. Look who's come crawling back to Genoa City. Zippy the Fox. Where you been, Zippy? Off pursuing other projects? I think that Zippy was the informant who turned Ashland into the police. Oh yes, that's the twist that's coming. Or not. So, Diane redeemed herself by betraying Ashland. That is some pretty darn good drama, I think, at least. I like that a lot. I think that made for a good plot point for Friday. I had a lot of fun with Friday's episode, and I can't wait to see what happens on Monday. Kyle and Summer, first of all, are going to be so grateful to Diane. They are going to be praising her like she is a hero or something. And I bet you that little act of heroism is going to go a long way with Jack, too. All the while, Phyllis and Nikki and now Ashley are going to be forming a triumvirate to try to force Diane out of town. Oh, the war is raging between these ladies. What happened to that peace truce? That truce lasted all of 2 weeks between Phyllis and Diane, and then Phyllis could stand it no longer. She had to get out of it. Phyllis actually had a pretty big blow up with Kyle over it this week, and I thought that was a really unusually great scene. Phyllis and Kyle are usually very cordial with one another. They have the obligatory mother-in-law, son-in-law politeness around them. But Kyle couldn't help himself from throwing it in Phyllis's face that he knew what happened between her and Jack, and he didn't like it. And so Phyllis stopped all of the politeness and unleashed her true opinion about Diane and gave Kyle some pretty aggressive warnings about Diane. Diane actually also had some pretty aggressive warnings about Phyllis for Allie. Allie is stuck in the middle of this, closer to Diane's side, or closer to Diane's end, or in Diane's orbit a little more, while Summer is stuck in the middle of this, closer to Phyllis's orbit a little more. And then we have Nikki piling on this week, and then we have Ashley piling on next week. Oh. One of my favorite scenes of the week, to be honest with you, actually was the coffeehouse confrontation between Nikki and Diane, where Diane started to try to apologize to Nikki again. Diane said, look, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, about everything that happened. I regret that I implicated you in my fake death, but when are you ever going to get over it? That was so soapy. And Nikki said, well, you know what, Diane? I don't have to get over it. I don't have to forgive you. That's my choice to make. And I really like that response. I like that Nikki actually said that, because it's true. Nikki and or Phyllis and or Ashley do not have to forgive Diane. They're more than welcome to hold on to their bitterness and let it keep them warm at night for as long as they see fit. And they're going to have the consequences to deal with of that. Holding on to the bitterness will have consequences for them. And Michael also did make a really good point to Nikki on Friday when he tried to level with her. I liked that scene a lot too. He tried to level with her and said, "Come on, Nikki, haven't you ever done anything that needed forgiveness?" And Nikki very quickly said, "I have never done anything that needed forgiveness as big, and I've never done anything as big as what Diane did." And I thought to myself, well, I don't know, wait a minute, didn't Nikki kind of do something similar when she faked a deadly illness to try to break up Victor and Ashley? And now Ashley and Nikki are going to be on the same side in a war against Diane. It all comes full circle. I don't dislike Ashland. I don't really wish any particular harm to him. I wasn't rooting for him to get in trouble or get arrested, but I think Diane probably did the right thing by turning him in. We don't know what Ashland could have been planning. What if he had snatched Harrison on Friday? Well, then Diane would have known on Tuesday that Ashland was back in town, and she would have said nothing to anybody. Kyle would have been furious. Kyle would have kicked Diane out of his life faster than she found her way into his life. So I think Diane did the right thing for herself and probably for her son. Because plus, there was a restraining order. If Ashland had a problem with the restraining order, then he should have been using all of his considerable resources to try to fight that restraining order in court, not just blatantly violating it because he felt that it was unfair. I feel like Ashland did himself in here. He didn't seem all too concerned about whether or not he could see Harrison when he was in New York with Victoria, planning their new life together far away from Genoa City. He was perfectly fine to not see Harrison then. No. Ashland Locke is a man with nothing to lose, and that makes him dangerous. More dangerous than before. And Billy released the anonymous Grinning Soul podcast telling the world that Ashland is a big old meanie. And then Ashland showed the audience that he is a big old meanie by trashing that beautiful hotel room. Oh, did he even think for one moment about the cleaning staff that's going to have to clean all of that up? Tiny little shards of glass everywhere? No, forget it. He better at least leave a big tip. Oh. Well, I mean, I guess after that had happened, I think that maybe Ashland was, after everything that happened with Victoria and everything that happened with the podcast being released, I think that Ashland was maybe trying to salvage something of his humanity, something of his dignity. And so he goes to the Newmans, of all people, to try to ask for their help to get one last visit with Harrison. That's what makes me suspicious of him. It wasn't, help me get this restraining order lifted. It was, I just want one more. And then that makes me think maybe he was planning something. And I don't know why on earth he would go to the Newmans for help with any of it. And furthermore, I don't know why he would think that they would have any influence on what Kyle was going to decide when it comes to his son. Victor told Ashland to go to hell, of course. Well, actually, Victor told Ashland not to show his face around there again, or Victor would kill him himself. And in the previews for next week, Ashland is behind bars and Victor is threatening him again. Okay, we need to pause. The next person who threatens to kill Ashland Locke had better actually kill him. It has been so long of dancing around this who killed Ashland Locke story. But I'm thinking maybe we might have finally arrived at it. Maybe The only recourse that Ashland has left is to maybe fake his own death and try to pin it on the Newmans. And maybe that's where Adam comes in. Nick is in as, you guessed it, COO of Newman Enterprises, and Adam is out of the company altogether. Like, I couldn't blame him. I don't know if anyone could blame him. He said it best himself. I'm only ever tolerated, not appreciated. Boom. What else needs to be said? And I do think, though, that Victor meant it when he told Adam that if he walks away from the company, that from the family too, that would break his father's heart. I do believe that Victor loves Adam. The problem is Victor loves Adam, loves everyone in the only way that he knows how, and that's with conditions. There's always conditions. So Adam goes to Ashland to form some sort of unholy alliance to take Victoria down, and also, in Adam's words, to hurt Victor. He wants to hurt Victor. Victor knows it's coming, though. He knows that Adam is disillusioned. Adam was talking to Sally about his desire to get even when Victor walked through the door and heard it all. That was a really fun moment. I liked that he was mouthing off, and then turns out Victor was standing right there in the doorway. I mean, Adam's got a lot to say right now. He was saying a lot last week. He was saying a lot this week. The wounds of it all are very fresh. Adam is seething. But the question left still is, what is Adam going to do? He's saying a lot, but what's he going to do? What is going to be the plan exactly? How far is Adam going to be willing to go? Far enough to blow up his own life, I suppose, and to blow up his relationship with Sally, just to get revenge on the family. Sally's really caught in the middle of this whole battlefield. Victoria wants to fire her, and Victor wants to keep her in the company and use her as a tool to get to Adam, which, by the way, he wants to use Sally to get to Adam in the same way that he used Adam to get to Victoria. It's his MO. It's what he does. So Victor gave Sally an ultimatum. He told her, you need to get Adam to return to Newman Media and take your CEO job title. And if you do that, then you might just be able to keep your piddly COO title. And if you don't, you're fired. I feel for Sally here. It's hard for me not to. I feel for her because I can tell that she has finally reached a level of success, and I think she feels guilty for wanting to keep it. Especially, when Adam is so unhappy. I think she's willing, though. I mean, she has expressed that she's willing to quit the company in solidarity with Adam, but Adam's not going to let that happen. Adam realizes that the CEO title means more to Sally than it could ever mean to him, and that it's part of her personal growth. It's a way that she's measured how much she's changed. So Adam decides to sacrifice himself so that she can have that success. He tells her that he has a plan. The less she knows, the better. And then he goes to Victoria and tells Victoria that he and Sally have broken up. They're no longer in association. So why not let Sally keep the job? As if that was Victoria's only objection to having Sally as the CEO. I think this was a very risky move by Adam that may very well not pan out. Why would Victoria keep Sally on when she could just get them both out of the way. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's saying, no, I'm going to remove myself from the situation, and therefore Sally's not a threat to you. But what's Victoria care? She could just then get rid of Adam and Sally in one fell swoop and put somebody else in at Newman Media. I think that the move by Adam should have been tell Victoria to keep Sally on as the CEO of Newman Media, or else I'm going to take the job and I'm going to make every day of yours a living hell. Keep Sally on and I'll walk away. That would have been what would have made more sense. And instead, it seems like it's all kind of morphing into some charade where Adam has to pretend, even to Sally, that he's not interested in her. He doesn't have feelings for her. It's over between them. They have to break up. And, I love the romantic tragedy of it all. I'm just not sure why it's necessary. Faith is going off to the University of Michigan in the fall. Wow. So what does this mean for her character? She has definitely not been on the front burner of the show. So I guess if that's going to be the case, then this is at least a pretty good way of explaining her absence. Faith can just be gone at college most of the time, and then she can still come home for weddings and funerals and board votes. That's how I envision it anyway. Well, Nick pulled the family together to announce that he's returning to Newman Enterprises and bequeathing all of his work to Noah. Wow, thanks, Dad! You mean you're leaving me holding the bag? What an honor! Perhaps Nick could have discussed a promotion or a pay raise or a compensation package or something. A little bit of incentive there for Noah. But that's going to make absolutely no difference. Noah confided in Allie that he doesn't want the job. He doesn't want to have a corporate job. He wants to follow his creative passions. And she helps him realize that it's okay to say no. I mean, he's obviously in a position where it's okay to say no. It's okay to let go. I mean, maybe Noah's place in the world and in the show is something very different. I'm just not sure exactly what it will be, what will become of Noah. Sharon's worried about it. Sharon picked up on Noah's hesitation, and he did later confess to her that he is thinking of leaving New Hope. And, Sharon's very concerned about her son. She had a lovely conversation with Tracy about it all, specifically about the two lovebirds, Allie and Noah. I mean, they were talking at pretty much the same time that Allie and Noah were just fluttering off with all of the anticipation of a first date. Oh, the boy even arrived at the front door to pick up the girl and everything. Oh, how cute. And I did laugh when Allie and Noah walked through the door at Society and took one look over to the bar and realized, oh, great, my dad and grandpa are here. That's just what you want to see on a first date. Noah's clearly trying to make a great impression here for the girl. And, my dad and grandpa are here. Oh. I was prepared for Victor to give Allie the third degree because she's Jack Abbott's granddaughter. But he didn't do that. Instead, he sprang for dinner. How nice of him. Crab enchiladas all the way. Oh. I don't know. Yeah, Noah almost seemed then after that to be waffling a little bit on his decision of whether or not he wants to leave the family business. I think he's knowing that he's sort of leaping into the unknown, and he doesn't really have any place to land. I mean, he doesn't really have anything mapped out. He's a little lost, and Sharon told Tracy that she's worried about his direction. Said every mother ever. That's such a mom thing to say, I guess. But I'm sure that Allie is going to play a big role in helping him. Allie is someone who's very determined. She's a planner. She's someone who likes to map out her future. That's part of her personality. So I'm sure that she's going to help him do that for his future. And, I think that's a great thing. I'm wondering, though, we talked a little bit about Noah and Allie last week, and I was expressing that I was kind of wishing a little something different for both of the characters. Not that I don't find them adorable and charming, and I enjoyed all the podcast scenes. When they were listening to the mystery podcast, I enjoyed all of the first date scenes. I think they're great. I'm kind of wondering, though, if there's anybody else out there who was kind of, maybe wishing it was a little bit different, maybe liking it but not loving it. I don't know. I thought maybe that would be a good poll question for this week. Do you guys like Allie and Noah? Are you feeling their romantic chemistry, or is it all too much for you? Go to yrchat.com. That's our poll question for this week. Leave me some comments. Let me know if you think you're liking Allie and Noah, or are they too cute, or is it just all too much? Wow! Lauren was incredibly understanding about Chelsea, leaving her in the lurch. Well, if it's for your emotional health, then okay. I understand. You okay? Is there anything I can do for you? All right. I love Lauren. That was very, very kind of her. And I do appreciate that Chelsea lined up another designer to take over for her. I'm sure that What's-His-Face will do a great job of designing Chelsea Lawson's clothes. Never mind that little detail that the whole line is named after her. I'm sure it'll all work out. Oh, everyone is so understanding. Chelsea also met with Summer and Kyle at the dive bar. That's right, the dive bar. Welcome to summer in July. We're a little late on this one, aren't we? But beggars can't be choosers. Oh. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the dive bar is located on the top of the athletic club, right? This is the rooftop of the athletic club. And we were told last week that Devon sold the athletic club. So we're going to need to get a new owner for this place. Stacked. I was maybe thinking, maybe Chelsea and Billy could be doing the hotel business, or the dive bar would have been perfect for them. But I have to say, I think I like the podcast idea even better. Now Chelsea has nothing to do, so she needs a soul project, just like Billy needed a soul project. And Billy has come to the realization that he, needs a co-host. So he asks Chelsea to be his podcast co-host. And Nate said that podcasts with multiple hosts outperform podcasts with single hosts. Is that someone trying to tell me something subliminally? Is Nate trying to convince me subliminally to get a co-host? I actually kind of have a hard time listening to conversational podcasts. For some reason, my brain just does a better job of processing one through line of logic. Like when I hear conversations, my brain just sort of shuts off. I think I process it as white noise or something. I do much better at focusing on one thing at a time rather than the playful back and forth of like a podcast or a radio show, which is essentially what it is, a radio show. But despite my initial reservations about Billy and Chelsea in the podcast, I actually think this is a great idea. I think the co-hosting podcast structure is a great idea for Y&R. It pulls the podcast out of Billy's drab clutches and it lets it be more conversational. It kind of reminds me a little bit of GC Buzz when we had that. It's kind of a way of creating a commentary of the show within the show. And if Y&R uses it in that context, I think it's going to be absolutely genius. A great part of the show. I think it will also be really great for Chelsea and Billy's characters. I'm really feeling the chemistry now. I mean, after just seeing them kicking ideas back and forth on Friday, talking about their pasts and how they might be able to learn from their mistakes and present that to others. Clearly, Chelsea is kind of on a redemption path here, and so is Billy. This is definitely something that can help redeem both of their characters, and I think the chemistry is just off the charts. I mean, in just 1 week, I'm sold on the Billy and Chelsea podcast, whereas last week I wasn't having it. I think it's a great idea. Even Lily thinks that it's a great idea. Oh, boy. A podcast between Billy and Chelsea. It just sounds like a recipe for romance, only nobody knows it yet. Does Devon have to be a wet blanket on everything these days? Having a son has really just been a drag on him. Dom has been a drag on Devon the way that Dom was a drag on me. Devon's never happy with anything. He's not happy with his COO. And now he's criticizing Lily's COO, implying that Billy is not pulling his weight since he's more focused on podcasts these days than the company. Well, Lily was very quick to inform Devon that Billy is pulling plenty of his own weight because, wait for it, Billy is the grinning soul. Dun, dun, dun. Well, that changes everything. Wait a minute. He's the grinning soul? That changes everything. Maybe Devon's right, though, because Lily did ask Billy to help her out and take care of a little bit of CEO business that was taken off her plate. So she asked him for help with some business task, and he agreed to it, but then he very quickly went right back to his podcast mania. I think that Billy is going to forget to do the task, and he's going to end up accidentally leaving Lily in the lurch, probably questioning whether or not her boyfriend is right for the job. Ooh. Lily might also be questioning whether or not Amanda's sister is right for her job. Lily seemed passively, aggressively suspicious toward Imani this week, which that's a real art form, being passive aggressively suspicious of someone. How do you pull that off? I don't know, but she did it. And Lily has the right to be. I mean, Imani has got no scruples. None. Naya is on death's door. And Imani is worried about, whether she can hurry up and get close with Nate before Elena comes home from Hawaii. Oh. Naya continues to have these off-screen health crises that are driving me crazy. It's just one health crisis after another. First a heart condition, then a stroke, now a seizure. Is there anything else that we can pile on here? I don't know. Maybe next week Naya will get struck by lightning. How about that? Here's the real twist. I think Naya is faking. Nobody has all of these conditions. Naya is clearly faking. You mean to tell me that Naya conveniently had a seizure that sent Amanda out of town on the same week that Elena was out of town and Nate was left all alone in Genoa City with his hunkiness? No, I don't buy it. I think Naya is in on the conspiracy. Imani inherited all of her craftiness from Naya. That's what it really is. I mean, why would Imani's father text Imani to tell Amanda that Naya wanted to see not both daughters, no, but just Amanda? That is either a total lie or, I don't know, totally thoughtless. The text message came precisely when Amanda was about to intrude on Imani's little fake business meeting with Nate. And the text message managed to get Amanda right out of the way. So convenient, and gave Imani a chance to get some private sympathy from Nate. By Friday, he was embracing her in public. Full-on hug. In public. Gee, Imani, if you're so worried about your mom, maybe you should go take a trip to visit her. And do it while you can, because next week she'll probably get hit by a bus. No one ever accused me of being timid. That was last week's Who Said It quote, and the answer was Ashland. Ashland was just coming back into town. He walks into the coffee house. He's talking to Adam, and Adam was, kind of commenting on how bold it was of Ashland to just come strolling back to town after everything that happened in New York. And Ashland said, well, no one ever accused me of being timid. Good job, Henry, Ron, Sue W., Tanya, Daisy, and Heather, because that was a pretty hard one. I got another pretty hard one for you, too. I feel like this is going to be a week where I don't have very many names, but we'll see. I don't know. Sometimes you guys throw me for a loop. Who said it? I smell fear. You're not going to get this, you guys. I picked one that's too hard, but maybe you will, maybe you won't. I smell fear. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now, over to you, my unofficial podcast co-hosts, starting with Diana, who says, what a big disappointment Imani's date with Nate ended up being. A big snoozer. Last week I was saying I was looking forward to the date and what would transpire. Looks like Allie and I were both duped. I know Allie predicted that Imani was not going to play the long game and likely drug Nate to seduce him. I said I wanted to see the long game and I was looking forward to Imani's schemes. Having said that, I was expecting a lot more on the dinner date. Nate and Imani did not even sit at a table. They sat at the bar the entire time. All we got was Imani telling Nate about her mother's condition and nothing more than that. Yawn. The next thing you knew, the date was over and the scene took place the next day with Nate and Imani back in the office. It just seemed like the date was getting just started. And then it was over. Y&R needs to give this storyline a lot more airtime and a lot more fun scheming from Imani. Yeah, and they need to give Imani some heart or something. She needs a friend. She needs some fluffing out. I mean, I guess maybe soaps can't really do the same tropes that they used to. Maybe people don't want to see those schemy stunts. But I just really think they're not doing Imani's character any favors by making her so one-dimensional. There needs to be more. But Naomi says Nate and Imani looked gorgeous together today. Yes, that's the bright side, Naomi. They did look gorgeous together. And I'm having a hard time choosing who I want Nate to be with because I also really like Elena. So this is a hard choice for me. I think Y&R needs to give us some more reasons to like Imani. Because I just like her for the pure soapiness of her and of the character. There's no real reason on a character level for me to like her. I just sort of kind of like the actress, and just sort of, she reminds me of old school soaps, but Y&R needs to do some fluffing for her to make the character more likable to people other than just me. Well, speaking of good-looking couples, Kamna says, I absolutely love Allie and Noah. Their relationship is very real and reflective of Gen Z. She looked beautiful on their date, and their relationship reminds me a bit of Kyle and Lola, minus the awkwardness. I'm guessing Noah's ex will come back to town, and she might be seductive and sophisticated, and then the drama will begin. But in the meantime, keep the young love flowing. We need these two cuties among the cuckoos in Genoa City. Yeah, I checked around for casting news on that too. I haven't seen that anyone resembling what would be Noah's old girlfriend would come back to town, but that I've never thought about that. That would be an interesting twist. I had my sights set on maybe Crystal or something to get in there and challenge it, but I think for now the young love thing is nice, but we are eventually going to have to see something a little else. Ambrini says, I just watched the scene where they were listening to the mystery podcast in the Abbott living room, and it was so cute. I enjoyed them teasing each other. They could be a new ship for me. Of course, Allie will always be number one. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you guys are loving Allie. I really love her too. That's the way, it's sort of like I love Allie, I love Noah. I just wasn't sure that this is how I wanted them to be blended, not the story that I really wanted to have. But I agree, they're very cute. And I also like Kamna's idea that, maybe someone who is an opposite personality type from Allie would be a good other, third to come in there and challenge the relationship. Well, T. Nicole says, take a hint, Diane. Allie mentioned that she had to go to work at least 3 times, and Diane kept on talking about things that I'm sure Allie really didn't want to hear. Please just let the girl go to work and stop forcing her to be your friend. Yeah, that's such a funny point, because that was so awkward. It was Allie wanting to go to her first day of work, and Diane just kept hanging on and pressing. It was so weird. Victoria says, Tracy is quite the diplomat. She asked such great probing questions, and Allie is lucky to have her advice and support. It's nice to see Tracy taking this role in Allie's life. Yes, I know, and it's so true, the diplomat, because Allie was kind of wanting to, not to gossip, but just wanting to kind of know what the situation was there with Jack and the 2 ladies in Jack's life. And Tracy said, I'm not going to speak for my brother. I totally understand. It's natural that you are asking these questions and that you would be curious, but I'm not going to be the one to say anything. I love that about Tracy. And Victoria, you have a birthday coming up this week, this Thursday, July 21. I hope you have a very happy birthday. Well, speaking of young love and youngins, Ellen says, so Faith is really going off to college soon? Does that mean that Moses will be gone too? Not that we see either of them very much on the show now, but I guess that means the teen scene is officially over. And Sherrod responds, yes, the kids are going off to college. Both actors are on recurring status now. The last time the youth generation was in a major storyline was back in 2015 when Summer's husband Austin was killed on Valentine's Day at the Abbott cabin. Yeah, it's like the teen scene's over and before it ever really started. I mean, the teens and the summer stuff, the teens being part of the summer stories, maybe it's just a thing of the past. It used to be that kids were home from school and flipping through the channels during summer vacation, and Y&R was hoping to grab some youth viewers, and now maybe kids don't flip through the television at all, so it's not as necessary. But yeah, it seems like Faith and Moses are off on recurring, and we're not really getting a teen scene for the summer. Sue W. says, though, I like both Faith and Moses, as well as the actors playing with them, but I'm meh on the teen scene. Young love in bloom is boring to me. I did like the insecure trying to fit in by partying storyline for Faith, as well as some of the past teen stories that were more than, gee, I hope he or she really, really, really likes me. Okay, no specifics, but my point is that I don't really care whether teen stories stay or go. It's a sideways thumbs for me. I don't know why, but I do like them. There's something light about them. Noah and Allie are kind of bringing that, though, that light young love flurry. Daisy says, I'm hoping Chelsea and Billy will get together, not just date, but fall in love and plan their wedding. Who wouldn't be upset with that pairing? Victoria would be upset, particularly when Chelsea arrives with Billy to see his children, including Chelsea's biological son. Adam would be upset with his ex hanging out with his arch nemesis and his arch nemesis around his son. Would Jill be okay with Chelsea as her daughter-in-law? Would Victor be concerned about his grandson being around Billy Boy? And so on. I think it would be an interesting storyline with a lot of different twists that could come with it. And wedding cake could be thrown at their wedding. That'd be a bonus. Poor Diane, cake all over her face and dress. Nikki and Phyllis could be laughing with cake in their hands. Yeah, I think you're right. I was initially resistant to Chelsea and Billy because I guess I like Billy and Lily. But I think you're right that there's a lot of storyline, more storyline to mine if Chelsea and Billy are together. And you laid them all out. It's perfect. Hey, this is a good question from Diana. What happened to the 4th of July celebration on the show? Is there a reason it wasn't acknowledged? Y&R has celebrated it before. That would have been a fun thing to see on the show. The holiday could have been a good opportunity to give us more outdoor scenes. Yeah, I've seen a couple people commenting more recently that Y&R doesn't really do holidays all that much anymore. We did get Valentine's Day this year, but yeah, we used to get 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. Like, there definitely used to be more parties, more outdoor scenes, and I kind of wonder if a lot of that got pushed down because Y&R got preempted so much during COVID and after, and it does seem like that's the hour to be preempted. Y&R's airing hour, though, I don't know, for me, it's 11 o'clock. If you're East Coast, it might be, noon? That's the hour that things get preempted for news. So maybe Y&R was tired of jostling around the holidays and decided not to stick to anything concrete, knowing that, the shows might be bumped here and there, and kind of planning on it. I guess they have to plan on being bumped now because it does happen a lot more than it used to. I don't think Y&R used to be preempted for news quite as much in the past. I mean, like, I remember, this is so old, but I remember Y&R getting preempted for the OJ trial back in the day, and that was a big deal. That, wow, it's like Y&R didn't air for quite a while, and then, it got preempted for quite a while during 9/11, and then preempted during COVID, so it seems like it's been preempted a lot more as time has gone on, no? I kind of feel like that's why the holidays don't happen, preemptions. Well, let's switch over to Miss Sally Spectra. Daisy says, Sally should pack up and leave Newman Media. She's just not qualified. Plus, she doesn't need to subject herself to the Newman family drama. So now that there's an opening at Marquette, Sally could get her best work together and show them that she's right for the job. I really like this comment, Daisy, because Sally doesn't fit at Newman Media. I want Sally to be successful. I like that Sally is successful, but she's a designer. I don't want to have to pigeonhole her. I mean, I guess I feel bad for doing that, but Sally Spectra is such a legacy character. I mean, Junior. That feels important to Y&R and to Bold and the Beautiful both. And so not having Sally designing just feels a little weird. And especially now that we have Marquette and no designer, I mean, it seems like it would be a perfect fit for her. And as you say, then she wouldn't even have to deal with any of the Newman drama. I guess that CEO title is just so alluring for her. It would be a step down to go back to designing now. I don't know. Well, Gary says, I had hoped that Ashland might have a pretty little bomb for Victoria and Victor. Yeah. But meanwhile, poor Adam, despite himself, is going psycho, becoming unhinged and avenging Sally's job as she will do anything to save him from himself. Love is self-sacrifice. Oh, yeah, Ashland, he walked into the office like he was going to say something, and then it was this very humble request. Yeah, Pretty Little Bomb would have been a whole lot better. And, about Adam and his revenge, I asked you guys last week if you wanted to see it. Did you want to see Adam seeking revenge on the Newmans? And hands down, 78% of you said yes. Give it to us. Only 22% said no, you want to see Adam continue to play nice. Well, Dolores says the Newmans will deserve a bad Adam. He can never do enough to get their respect or the benefit of the doubt. First, saving Summer in a car crash. Then he gave a kidney to her. Saved Nick when, I think you mean Faith. He saved Nick when they were caught in the storm. He was shot by Billy and saved Victor. Yet others like Chelsea poisoned Ray and all is forgiven. Yes, he's done bad things in the past, but he's been making a huge effort to change and be a part of the family. They will never forgive or accept him fully. And I think Adam realized that this week, and it was good to see him express it. The fact of the matter is there's nothing he can do that will change these people's opinions of him. So why continue to try? They will never accept him fully. They will never forgive him, even though many of them have been the beneficiaries of forgiveness at multiple levels. It will never be extended from them to Adam, and so why try? Why try? Gosh. Henry said, I voted yes. Victor Newman is ruthless. Adam and Ashland will give it a good try, but I think it will end badly. Adam's attempt at a coup is what he should do, and it will be must-see TV. He has had the CEO spot taken away twice. To have him retaliate is very realistic. Pass or fail. Go for it, Adam. Yeah, I want to see Adam going for it, too. I think the time is now. Robbie says, I just wish the Newmans treated Adam with more respect. They keep talking about Adam being a monster, and now they made him one again. I'm not looking forward to the Newmans playing victim once Adam strikes, when they're the ones that poked the bear to begin with. Oh, Robbie, that's great. That's great. If we're going to say making of a monster, this is exactly what happened. The Newmans are making him this way. Yeah. He's ultimately responsible for his actions, though, too. Mary Ann V says, I think the Newmans did Adam wrong, like they always do. He deserves to get even. Just try to bring down the Newmans without Ashland. Not a good idea to team up with him. Actually, it would be good if Adam stopped him from getting even with Victoria. Then Adam would be a hero. Yeah, it's true, but how many times does Adam have to be the hero? It ultimately never ends up making a difference. But I like what you're saying is you would like to see Adam get the revenge, but without Ashland in the picture. Yeah, it makes for an interesting partnership, but it does kind of sully. It puts a little bit of a taint on Adam just by being in association with Ashland right now. Well, Victoria says it was very telling when Adam referred to his family as, quote, those people. In the past few years, Adam has worked hard to win the Newmans' acceptance and respect. However, unlike others in the family, Adam's not forgiven for his past misdeeds. Victor's attitude has also shifted away from Adam. Instead of championing for Adam, he uses him and then relegates him back to Newman media. An interesting question is, could Adam's own attitude about those people instead of my family be keeping him from acceptance, respect, and the family love he so desires? Oh, okay, well, this is very deep. So is Adam's own attitude of seeing himself as an outsider what's influencing him becoming an outsider? I tell you though, it's possible, but I also really like your point that Victor's attitude about him seems to have changed. I guess you're saying, is it possible that maybe Victor's responding to that? But even just a year ago, Victor got Newman Media for Adam. I mean, he really wanted Adam to be folded into the family, but Victor very quickly turned his back on him. I mean, the whole thing with almost publishing the story about Billy, it never rang true to me that Adam deserved some sort of punishment for that. And it seems like that was the real crux of where Adam became more and more ostracized from the family, where the relationship with Victor became more and more strained. It was all around that thing with Billy, that little, him and Sally masquerading and hoping to catch Billy, and Billy luring him in, and maybe Adam would have published the story, and that would have been very bad, but not nearly as bad as everything that's gone down with Victoria and the co-CEO and the CEO, and almost losing the entire company to Ashland Locke. It's just nowhere near comparable, and yet that relationship with between Adam and Victor is so strained. Ellen says, yes, I was disgusted that Victor yelled, "You wanted to kill your father," at Adam, and "You'll break your father's heart if you leave." What a manipulator. Either Victor accepts that Adam was completely unhinged after finding out that he accidentally killed AJ Montalvo when he was a child, or he doesn't. Don't throw the temporary insanity up in his face now just to manipulate your son, Pops. You abandoned Adam when he was a boy, and he needed you the most, so shut up. Adam took a bullet for you. Have you forgotten that, you selfish bully? You tell it. I would like to see you in a room with Victor. Yeah. I was surprised that Victor brought that up, like, "You tried to kill your father." I mean, Nick turned Victor into the FBI. I mean, gee. There's been a lot that everyone has done. It's just, oh boy. Yeah, so, and then I thought that was an interesting line, though, when Victor said, "If you leave Newman Enterprise, if you leave the family," and it almost seemed like there was going to be a threat there, and then he pulled it back, and the answer was, you'll break your father's heart. Yeah, I think Victor loves Adam. I think it will break his heart to see Adam go, but Victor will never realize that he's part of the problem. Yeah. Sue W. says, "I thought that was a well-played scene between Adam and Victor, as they refused to compromise at the expense of whatever the relationship is they still had. I agree that Adam is absolutely warranted in his feelings, but that said, he continues to feel more and more less than. He seemed a bit more poor me whiny than his generally unruffled persona. I hope he snaps out of it in whatever his next moves are. It doesn't fit with his sexy coolness." Adam's confidence really has not been very high within the last couple of months. I mean, I'm sure being put in, and like, Victor jacks with his head, though. Victor put Adam into the CEO position and pumps him up, does the press conference and everything, and then just yanks it out for the preferred child. And that's the second time he did it in like 2 months. He put Adam in as the CEO twice in the last month, puffed Adam up, made him feel like he earned it or he deserved it or he had confidence in him, and then Victor just pulls the rug out from under. And I'm sure that takes a toll on Adam's psyche, but maybe we're going to start to see the turn where he becomes a little more confident, and a little more of his sexy coolness will come out. Gary says, "Yeah, Adam is looking especially thin and pale, as he has again become completely done in by his father." Yeah, he is looking thin and pale, but I kind of have been thinking the past week and prior, his hair's looking better. I don't know, Ellen, what do you think? Let's weigh in on Adam's hair this week, because it's been weird and stiff and just ill-fitting. His hair feels like they style it on a sun, and then they set it on his head. It doesn't flow with his face. But then this week I noticed that he did have some like side curl kind of down one of his cheeks, and it just feels a little more flowy, a little more soft. I think his hair's looking better, and I mean, I think he's looking good. Thin and pale and whiny. Thin and pale and whiny. But great hair. How about that? Well, Gary also says, "A full investigation needs to be launched into the restraining order against Ashland, as he's done absolutely nothing wrong in regard to Harrison that would warrant the order." Yes, I've seen this a couple of times this week. People are saying, wait a minute, the restraining order is bunk. And I agree that the restraining order is bunk. So why didn't we see Ashland fighting it? Since it happened, we saw Ashland doing absolutely nothing about it. Only within the last week, when he got really desperate, did we see him doing anything. And if we had seen him at least saying that he had his lawyers working on it, I think I would have a whole lot more sympathy for what happened. But that's not what happened. I mean, it was the restraining order. You didn't do anything about it, and you just decided to violate it. Of course you were going to get caught. I feel like Ashland walked right into the trap rather than fighting. I mean, he's supposed to be the Loch Ness monster. Why didn't... And okay, fine, then we don't want to see a long court battle. Why didn't we at least see Ashland making some phone calls in New York? Like, Y&R needed to build this up a little bit. The whole Harrison thing and this whole arc, although it was good, happened within 1 week's time. They should have been... I mean, the restraining order thing happened a month ago. Once a week for the last month, we should have seen Ashland making phone calls to his lawyers, and maybe the lawyers saying, no, the Newmans they've got the judge in their back pocket. If that had been the case, then I sure as heck would feel a whole lot more sorry for Ashland Locke for where he is right now. But I think he landed himself there all on his own. All on his own. No sympathy for the monster today from me, I guess. But how about this? Kamna says, something is not quite adding up. Arresting Ashland was far too easy. And he went to Victor and Victoria asking for the restraining order to be dropped. It's a setup. We never saw what Adam and Ashland talked about. Possible that Diane is in on it also. She is also staying at the athletic club. Can't wait to see the Newmans get what coming to their self-righteous clan. Oh, so you think this is part of the plan between Adam and Ashland? It's true. They did have a meeting and then it sort of ended and we didn't hear anything about what exactly they were planning. So yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to lead to that, how Ashland being in jail is going to lead to that, but I think it's going to all lead up to Ashland faking his own death. And then maybe Adam is there as some sort of witness to the threats that Victor is making upon him. That would be a way to at least hurt Victor, which is what Adam's goal was, and maybe Victoria could, be a suspect in it all too. Maybe it could come out about the way she played him and took all his money and all that. I mean, shoot, there could be a diary or something that Ashland leaves behind that implicates Victoria and all of it, and then Adam can come in to say he witnessed Victor threatening him. I don't know. That's just sort of where my head goes with it, mostly because we've spent all this time talking about 40 people. 40 people have said, I'm going to kill that Ashland Locke. Everyone in town has said it. It's hard to ignore that. Well, speaking of Victoria, Sue W. says, while Victoria may well be a good deal, if not all of the deplorable things that the chatters say about her, I still love to watch the character both stumble and stride through her birthright, all due to the deliciously confident way that the actress embodies her Newmanness. Amelia Heinley is fantastic, and I never tire of watching her, even if the character gets tiresome. Oh yes, Sue W. I don't feel as negatively about Victoria as a lot of people do, and I really think it probably is mostly because I think Amelia is fantastic. I mean, she's everything that Victoria Newman needs to be and is, and you make a great point that she's both stumbling and striding through her birthright. Yeah, I think she is what Victoria is. Would I like to see her soften? Yeah, sometimes I would, but then there's also, it is sort of delicious to watch her just be a little bit of a robot sometimes. She is the Ice Queen. She plays it as the Ice Queen. Occasionally it melts a little bit and you see what's underneath all of that ice, but there is something that is just so skillful about the way Amelia plays it that it still makes it entertaining to watch. And I'll also compliment that mint dress that she had on this week. Oh my goodness, I could not take my eyes off of it. At first, I mean, she had it on all week, and at first I noticed it. I thought, oh, that's a beautiful color, but then my eyes were drawn to the cut of the dress. Ugh, mint. I have got to order something in mint. I today looked through my closet and said, oh, is there anything that I have that's in mint? Do I have mint green anywhere? No. So I've got to order something stat. She made mint look lovely and refreshing for summer. Well, let's end on this comment from Sherrod, who says, Y&R has enlisted the Hocus Pocus trio of Ashley, Nikki, and Phyllis to team up to go after Diane. I find this to be overkill and not even fun to watch. If this is the direction that the show is taking, and since I don't have my Chariah along with Sally and Adam, I think I will join Superplex. Oh, no! Well, shout out to Superplex still. Wow. Superplex is still with us in spirit, and you would be too, Sherrod. You know, I think, gosh, it is tough to watch Nikki and Phyllis and now Ashley just kind of sitting there being mean girls. And at the same time, I do find it entertaining. It's hard to say. It's like on the one hand, I like it. On the other hand, I don't like it. But the more I think about it, the more I feel so passionate about the idea of Nikki embracing Adam. I mean, maybe we could even see something like Ashley embracing Diane down the road, but it's the Nikki embracing Adam is exactly what I think would turn a lot of this mean girlness around. Nikki's character in particular needs tenderness. I mean, she's turned into a total nag lately, which is a shame because it's great to see her on screen. I don't know if you remember, but just a few years ago, not that long ago, Nikki really wasn't around all of that much, and we kind of never saw her. She came in occasionally, but it was more of a treat just to even see her. But if Y&R were to really crank up the hate for Adam, like if they really cranked up Nikki's hate for Adam for another couple of weeks, and then if they surprised us all and twisted it into a true friendship between Nikki and Adam, it would totally transform Nikki's character, and it would give Adam this very unexpected ally. I'll tell you right now, if Y&R twisted it and gave us some tender, true friendship moments between Nikki and Adam, I will drop to the ground and lick Josh Griffith's boot. Don't hold me to that, though. We all know he probably don't even wear boots. Probably more of a loafer. If it's clean, we'll get the shoes shined. We'll make a thing of it. We'll get the shoes shined. We'll get the cameras. We'll produce it. You know, we'll do it for some behind the scenes Paramount Plus bonus feature. He can get his loafers shined, and I'll go up there and I'll lick his loafer. But the condition is you got to do it well. We have to do that turn and that twist, rip my heart out, and then I'll be down on the ground licking the loafer. Oh, boy. Well, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this week's Y&R. If you did, or if you didn't, go to yrchat.com. Tell me why. Can't wait to hear from you guys. It's always such a pleasure to read your comments. Like I said, you're my unofficial podcast co-hosts. I feel like that's how I can get away with just doing the single person podcast / video, because reading the comments, it totally adds the flavor. It fluffs the whole Y&R chat out. If it was just me, yeah, I think it would be more boring. But where Y&R chat really got good was when I started reading your comments. And thank you for all of the well-written, beautiful comments that I get, you guys. And I like reading the written comments too. I was thinking of this earlier in the week, because it's like, when you write something down, you have to take a moment to think about it and to form it. And, well, mostly most places you probably don't. There's a lot of like little flippant comments, but you guys take the time to actually craft an idea, and that's what I like about it. So when I'm reading the comments, I'm bringing pretty well fleshed out ideas to the table and spinning them around, kicking them around, and I think that's what makes Y&R Chat very special, and thank you for your contributions. I love you guys very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.